Padel isn't just growing with everyday players. Some of the most famous people in the world were already deep into it long before most fans noticed. Football icons, actors, musicians, even royalty. That didn't happen by accident. So today we're breaking down why all of them landed on the same sport and who's actually involved. Every decade seems to get its celebrity sport. In the 90s it was golf, in the 2000s it was tennis. More recently in the US, it's been pickleball. But over the last few years, especially in Europe and Latin America, Padel has started turning up in the same places celebrities already spend their time. Private clubs, training centres, resorts, friends' houses. But before we get into the names, there's one thing that most coverage misses. Celebrities don't enjoy learning things badly in public. So when they choose a sport, it usually needs to feel playable fairly quickly. And Padel does that better than most. That's why the first people to really push it forward weren't influencers or federations, they were footballers. When David Beckham says he was hooked on Padel, it wasn't a throwaway line. He's been filmed playing in Miami, Qatar, and across Europe. He trains privately at Padel clubs while travelling. Brands now send him Padel gear because they know it tends to end up online. There's a familiar pattern with Beckham. When he genuinely gets into something, interest usually follows a few months later. Padel followed that pattern. Then we have Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He didn't just get into Padel, he went all in. He founded Padel Center, a premium indoor paddle chain across Sweden and Italy. Large facilities, professional courts, no shortcuts. Players in Sweden regularly talk about Zlatan showing up unannounced, playing at full intensity, and refusing to leave until he wins one more point. If you've seen him around, please let me know in the comments, I'd love to know. When the biggest sporting name in a country puts real money into something, people tend to pay attention. Cristiano Ronaldo's involvement is quieter, but it's very real. He purchased the Lisbon Racket Centre and redeveloped it with a strong focus on padel. Portuguese padel media regularly describe him as a genuine player. He's not chasing exhibition matches, he's focused on the infrastructure, and that usually matters more in the long run. Loyal padel fans know that the sport has deep roots in Argentina, so Lionel Messi playing wasn't exactly a surprise. Since moving to Miami, he's been filmed hitting with teammates and friends, including Suarez. Local media have mentioned padel as one of his favourite off-day activities. Neymar, meanwhile, is building a large sports complex in Brazil that includes padel courts, and he plays regularly in private sessions. Between them, they've normalised the sport for hundreds of millions of fans, without ever needing to sell it. Now, a lot of celebrity padel lists kind of stretch the truth. Eva Longoria doesn't. She plays regularly in Spain, has competed in charity events, trains at established clubs, and is a co-owner of 11-11 Team USA in the Hexagon Cup. If you ranked Hollywood by genuine padel involvement, she'd be right up near the top. Antonio Banderas has been involved in padel for years. He's frequently photographed playing, supports events around Malaga, and appears regularly in Spanish media coverage tied to the sport. He's never really made much noise about it, but he's been around long enough that nobody in Spain doubts it. Hugh Grant, Nicole Scherzinger, and Al McPherson often show up in lifestyle coverage around padel. They've been spotted at UK clubs and resort courts while travelling. None of them seem to live and breathe the sport, but they're confirmed regulars within the London social circuit. Then we have Daddy Yankee, who didn't just play padel. He put money into it. He bought a team in the US Pro Padel League, the Flowrider Goats. He's opening padel clubs in Florida, and he regularly talks about the sport publicly. If padel breaks properly into US Latin pop culture, he'll be part of the reason. Then we have Shakira, who picked up padel while living in Spain. She's been photographed playing multiple times over the years, and Spanish press constantly describe her as someone who genuinely enjoys it. She wasn't promoting anything, she was just playing because she liked it. And that's the kind of influence that the sport needs. The next name on the list is Stormzy, who isn't just dabbling. He's an investor in Padel Social Club, a London project aiming to build urban padel venues. He plays, he invests, and he connects padel to modern UK culture in a way traditional athletes usually don't, and that connection carries weight. And speaking of UK culture, Joe Marler, recently on Traitors UK, has become genuinely obsessed with padel. He's partnered up with Tubes, and together they've launched one of the UK's first major padel-focused YouTube channels, filming matches, challenges, and behind-the-scenes content from clubs around the country. It doesn't feel elite or overproduced, and I think that's exactly why it lands. Multiple UK outlets have confirmed that Prince William and Princess Catherine play padel. They're described as competitive, surprisingly capable, and regular players at private courts. We've seen this pattern with other sports, and it's playing out here too. Yes, somewhere behind the palace walls, the future king and queen are hitting bandejas. Not sure if I can say that seriously. Then we have Andy Murray, who has been involved in padel for years. Obviously an exceptional tennis player in his time. He invested early in Game for Padel, which now operates dozens of courts around the UK. He plays, he talks about it openly, and he's helping push padel into the wider tennis conversation. And that credibility made a real difference. Neither Novak Djokovic or Serena Williams are regular padel players, but both have played and both have spoken positively about it. And they both seem genuinely surprised by how enjoyable it was. And those moments do more for legitimacy than most marketing campaigns ever really could. Then we have Jurgen Klopp, who fell hard for padel. Liverpool built padel courts partly because of him. He co-founded Padel FC in Liverpool, and he plays regularly in Mallorca. And when someone like Klopp gets properly into something, it filters through the squad. Once you line up all these people, the reason they stick with padel isn't actually that hard to see. It doesn't take years to feel decent. It's competitive without being punishing. It works socially, whether it's friends or family. Indoor courts offer privacy, and it doesn't put careers at risk. Footballers avoid injuries, actors protect wrists, musicians protect their bodies. Padel lets them compete without paying for it later, and I haven't even touched on the Formula 1 drivers playing padel at the moment. So padel didn't just spread because of one viral moment. It spread because people with the most influence started playing it, kept playing it, and then started building around it. Clubs, teams, facilities, they're not just participants anymore, they're helping shape where the sport goes next. And if padel ever had a tipping point, this is exactly what it looks like. If you know of any celebrities that I've missed that are getting really obsessed with padel, please let me know. I'd love to hear. Thank you for watching, like the video and subscribe. See you guys next time.